Namaskar and good day to all. This is Connecting Through Culture, a series of podcasts by the Indian Council for Cultural Relations. I am Vinay Sahasrabuddhe, President ICCR, and exactly 1 year before, ICCR came out with an anthology of articles which is rightly named as Connecting Through Culture, because the quintessential characteristic of Indian culture that it very proactively connects with the humanity, with the entire world. And therefore, we thought it fit that after producing this anthology of articles, which sheds light on several aspects of Indian culture that have demonstrably connected India with the global community since times immemorial. And now, in this year, 23-24, we plan to present you some living examples of India's ability to connect with the global community through its culture. And therefore, we thought it fit to have this kind of a series of podcasts under Connecting Through Culture title itself. The first person I am very happy to present you is a young friend of mine with whom I got introduced maybe few years before.
Right.
His name is Amar Hasan. He comes from Damascus, Syria. He is a 1977 born young graduate of mass communications from the Damascus University. His father is a civil engineer. He has worked in Gulf in Saudi Arabia, and a part of a family with 3 siblings and his parents, of course, and others. But Amar Hasan came to India in 2008 in the month of July. Amarji, if you can tell me, what was that occasion which brought you to India first some 14 years before? I'm sorry.
Yes. First of all, I would like to thank you, Dr. Vinay. It's a great honor to be in your presence. It's a dream, actually. You know how much I look up to you. I appreciate the invitation and I appreciate the initiative, and I wish you all the best in this podcast series, Connecting Through Culture. 14 years ago, what happened actually, I got what many people call spiritual crisis.
Okay.
A sort of spiritual crisis.
In your personal life, kind of?
In my personal life. I was really leading a successful life by all worldly...
you were in advertising.
I was true. I was working in advertising, and actually I reached in advertising to a place where I even started my own firm, advertising firm in the Gulf, back in 2006, 2005. Now what happened, I was leading a successful life by all terms, in the worldly sense, but I reached a point, I think I hit a big wall. Many questions emerged, spiritual questions, and I was really feeling so stuck in finding answers for these questions. And it's known in the Arab region, especially in Syria, whenever one needs a drop of spirituality, one has to turn to India.
Really?
That is
a common understanding.
It is a common understanding. Actually, many people, even I have friends who I told when I reached India, so they used to call me. I used to have still my roaming, my phone used to be on roaming.
Yeah.
So still I was in the beginning. So they used to call me, where are you at? From Syria. I am in India. Okay, so you are up to something spiritual here.
Oh,
so
really?
That was the comment, actually, the main comment I used to get.
So even in Syria, India is considered as a place for spirituality.
Definitely, and even Dr. Vinay, if you look now, even the way the Yoga International Day, it happened the 1st June,
right.
The way it gets now celebrated in Syria, it is so unique, even among the all other Arab countries. So that time, back to the story, I filled that vacuum. One thing led me to another, and I ended up meeting my guru.
Who is that guru?
Shri Radha Ma, from Tamil Nadu.
Okay.
She's actually basically from Chennai, belongs to Brahmin family. and she is coming from the lineage of Sri Adi Shankaracharya in terms of her teachings.
Okay.
So I was so graced, I can say, to really come across such a great Mahatma, such a great master, who really introduced me into this Indian philosophy, along, and this is maybe the surprise that would come as a surprise to many who are watching us, and even Sufism. That love she has and that admiration she had towards Sufism was nothing short of.
So, did you have any correspondence with her before coming to India?
Well, it happened. It happened quickly. It happened over phone,
Oh, okay.
and that was also a very interesting
Incident.
because that time I was like a lost child.
Right.
I needed a mother.
Correct.
And this is where actually out of the blue, as the saying goes, my guru appeared in my life by all means. It happened in a nick of time.
So, you left Damascus and straight away landed in Chennai.
Actually, I left. I was back then in the Gulf.
Oh.
I was that time. I was at the Gulf. I left. She requested me. I expressed my frustration. I expressed that time. I needed answers. What is the purpose of this life? What is what we are here for? What would happen after? In a way, I mean, this is what
These are the eternal questions.
The eternal existential questions.
Correct.
Now, first thing that happened when I had a call with Ma, I call her Ma, mother. So she told me, "How are you, my baby?"
Really?
That was the first
In
line.
the very first meeting.
The first line over phone. And that moment, by all means, I melted. And that call lasted for 4 hours. And
Really?
it's the first call. It lasted for
Over
4
telephone.
hours. Over telephone. And that time there was no Skype, there was no WhatsApp. So, and Ma herself actually, she was making that call. And the way, that voice, it encapsulated to me, it felt to me, the whole compassion of this universe. And she told me, she requested me, "Why don't you come to India?
Great.
You come and we will talk about all your questions."
Wonderful.
And this is how.
This is the beginning.
That was the beginning of a life-changing journey.
So, Amar, when you came in 2008, if I may describe that, there was no looking back thereafter. And if I understand correctly, perhaps you have very rarely visited your country thereafter. Am I correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
Actually, what happened, Dr. Vinayji, in 2008, that was my first visit ever, before meeting my guru. What happened, I stayed in a meditation retreat in Himachal Pradesh. And I went to Pune, by the way, that
really?
trip. I was, and here is the thing I think we will come upon maybe later, about the power of translation. Because most of the books I used to read about India, translated books into Arabic. At that time, there were many books of Osho.
Oh.
So
you went to Rajneesh Ashram?
I went to Rajneesh Ashram in Pune. I was very keen to have the experience. Now, my journey with Sri Rajneeshji, it didn't last for long, because my guru then, within a few months, I met my guru, and that where definitely I came again and met my guru in Tamil Nadu.
So the spiritual journey could be described as from Damascus to Chennai via Pune.
That's correct. That is a spot on.
But
statement.
Amar, if you could just reflect upon that, what are those factors that attracted you towards India, Indian culture, maybe Indian spirituality?
Ji.
So if you could just identify those factors and tell us, then viewers also would be enlightened that these are the strong points which attract a person like you, who is a Syrian by birth, and who also had that appetite for seeking answers to several questions which are pertaining to the very purpose of human life.
Correct. Correct. Actually, starting from Dr. Vinay, I had my relationship, Pishpanse actually. It is like really with India. It goes back to childhood times.
Oh,
That is the first, I can say, the first maybe touch point with Indian culture.
which one? Sorry.
In childhood, Bodhvar ko, and every Wednesday,
Okay.
Bahrain TV,
Uh-huh.
officially Bahrain TV.
Okay. Used to air an Indian serial.
Indian film, Indian Hindi film.
Oh, okay.
हर बुधवार को चलाती थी.
अच्छा. आप हिंदी भी बहुत बढ़िया बोलते
हाँ जी,
हैं.
बहुत धन्यवाद.
So every Wednesday you used to watch an Indian movie.
Every Wednesday, I was like 12 years old. I used to glue myself, I still remember, to the TV. That time there was no dish TV. You need to adjust the antenna
Right.
to receive those channels.
Yeah.
And my journey to
Started
see
from
India behind from the screen, that time itself. And I
Do you
developed.
recall any particular movie, Amar?
Actually, not really, but I mean, Shri Amar Hasan is definitely was my and still he is a hero.
Okay.
But some songs even I used to
Sing.
I used to sing. So that affinity, and it was not something I feel. Now when I look back, I can tell myself at least that this journey belongs to really long time. So what happened, that is in the first touch point with Indian culture.
Correct.
Now, after that, so India in a way was not really strange to me. I was very familiar with the culture. I'm enchanted with the culture. I saw the colors, I saw the vibrations, I lived through these movies, Indian culture in a way. Then when it came in 2008, that was the time, as I said, I had that kind of spiritual crisis, or a vacuum was there. And I started reading all these books, actually, Indian books, about Indian philosophy, translated into Arabic. That time I used to read in Arabic. And this is where I think you can relate to what I'm saying, Dr. Vinay, where the power of translation plays a big role. At that time, I used to read most of my readings about India through Arabic. Even I still remember Ramayana.
Oh, in Arabic.
Actually, in Arabic, and by a Syrian writer. That is the interesting thing. And he was the editor of Al Hind magazine. He translated the Ramayana and Mahabharata.
Both.
He did, but of course it was like maybe abridged kind of a translation. That it's 2001. I read to Jiddu Krishnamurti. I tried to familiarize myself with. Suddenly I was like a thirsty, very thirsty, and you just tell him this is the lake.
And there was an ocean. There was this kind of a river of knowledge and
Gyanam, a river of knowledge. Correct.
Yeah.
And the main thing about that knowledge, the Indian knowledge, is its simplicity, yet its richness.
Simplicity yet
Richness.
Wonderful.
And profundity.
Wonderful.
How profound, yet in very simple terms. And that's what really struck me. Number one.
So the Arabic translations of various Indian scriptures, including the epics of Ramayana and Mahabharata, basically made you realize the simplicity, the richness, and the profundity
Correct.
of Indian spiritual traditions.
Correct.
Which was the first compelling reason for you to get attracted towards Indian culture. Am I correct?
That's true.
What were the other reasons?
That's true. I came across, and that was maybe the main thing that led me eventually to meet also my guru, the concept of moksha.
Radhama.
Shri Radhama, the concept of moksha. It struck me like anything.
Really?
And of course in Sufism also, because I was also researching the Sufi schools. I tried, before even coming to India, I tried also to familiarize myself with the Sufi school of thought. Now, I saw how that concept also exists there. Al-Fana fillah. It's called Al-Fana fillah. And you have that concept of moksha here, and it has been also provided how to attain moksha. Through also, of course, through meeting a proper guide, a guru, who can take you through the path. on this path. So that is something definitely was very, very important, and I couldn't leave me. And I had to pursue that. It reached to a point where, okay, after this war is about this, could be about that, but there is an exit of all of that. And that also brought to me that term samsara. And how beautiful that term I felt that time.
Sansara.
Samsara. And samsara.
Samsara is the whole worldly things.
Right. And how everything, there is a cycle of this birth and death. Too many explanations, provided actually they filled too many gaps in my being.
So one can say the strength of India's spiritual thought,
Correct.
maybe, was one of the significant points which attracted you, significant factors that attracted you.
Very true.
Beyond that, when now that close to 14 years you are staying in India, so you are experiencing the Indian social life as well. So what kind of factors or characteristics of India's social and cultural life that added to your attraction?
In one word, I may maybe sound here, but this unity in diversity.
Oh, wonderful!
This unity in diversity is something. Again, it's a mind blowing. It's a mind blowing thing. I've been to other countries in the world, maybe not many, but still, this unity, which is very peculiar to this blessed land, India, Bharat. So that is something definitely. It was. It didn't take me time to feel that and to live that. And wherever you go, I met Indians from all creeds, from all religions. I mean, it's been 14 years, so it was natural. But everyone talks about the same. And that is something really...
so what we say as Ekam Sat Vipraha Bahudaha.
Ekam Sat Vipraha Bahudaha Vadanti. Correct. The wise, they call it by many names. The truth is one. But the wise call it or express it by many names.
But beyond that, I mean, you are a very spiritual person, as I understand, and therefore spirituality attracting you more is very understandable. But then day-to-day life is also something more than spirituality. There are several other things which you have to do. You have been a prolific writer, so you have to write books.
Correct.
You have to do some research as well.
Correct.
So if you could tell us something about what attracted you towards this book writing thing, because I am told that you are one of the very ardent, what I should say, bhakt of Mirabai.
That's true.
Saint Mirabai. So if you could tell us about your connection with Sant Mirabai.
Ji. Actually, Shri Mirabai, Sant Mirabai, my journey with Sant Mirabai dates back to Rishikesh.
Oh, okay.
There used to be Geta Press in Ramjula.
Correct.
Next to Madras Cafe.
You vividly remember.
Very, very, very vividly. Rishikesh is one of my favorite places in India. I lived there for also a few years. So I came across that book, The Story of Mirabai.
Oh, okay.
It was published by Gita Press, Gorakhpur.
In English.
In English. Now that time also I was in the company of my guru. So she got me the book, and she told me you can read it. And actually I saw it. I was to see in the cover there was a lady, the veena with the singing on that the ektara instrument, and so I got attracted to that cover and the story of Mirabai. So I went through that book, and I think this is when it started. Like, because my guru also coming in from, she is in a way lady, of course, on the physical appearance.
Right.
So I always admired how a woman could live all this luxury of life, even, I mean, all this securities also of life.
Correct.
And they lead that spiritual life. To me, maybe for a man comes maybe a little bit easier. But we are talking also about
A woman.
a lady in the 14th century, 15th century. She's born in 1498 in Kurki, near Mirta in Rajasthan. And she stood up to great
All kinds of adversities and
correct
number of difficulties
correct
and challenges
and
she
challenges.
had to face.
Yet she didn't leave
Correct. The path of bhakti.
that path of bhakti. And that is something, it struck me like anything. I mean, what one can talk about. Anywhere I go around India, I am struck by a greatness of
But tell me, Amarji, you have translated some 250 bhajans of Mirabai into Arabic.
Kareeb, so 200.
Can you show us the book?
Sure.
Oh, wonderful. This is the book of Mirabai's bhajans translated in Arabic. And I'm sure Mirabai
Mira.
One of the few Indian saints whose work has been translated into a language like Arabic.
Right.
Is it not?
Right, that's true.
So, which of the Mirabai's bhajans is your favorite?
Aisa lagi lagan.
ऐसी लागी लगन
मेरा हो गई मगन
मेरा हो गई मगन
ऐसे लगी लगन मेरा हो गई मगन वो तो गली गली हरिगन गाने लगी
वो तो गली गली हरी गुण गाने
महलों में पली I used to live in the palaces and now I am living on the road. मेरा के दीवानी they say Mira is crazy, but they will talk what they talk.
Okay.
So aisa lagi lagan. I used to actually
so that dedication and devotion
correct
which comes through these kinds of bhajans
correct
attracted you most,
and that happiness in it. Although there is a suffering,
the bliss,
the anand,
anand,
that anand, it is very much felt all throughout her bhajans.
Let me also tell that Amar is also a scholar, in the sense that he has been reading a lot, writing also a lot, and one of his famous books is the translation of Dara Shuko's book, and let us hear about it from him, from the horse's mouth. So Amarji, tell us what attracted you to Dara Shuko and which book of his you translated in Arabic.
Actually, I got also introduced to, I believe, Dr. Vinay ji, we don't choose the books.
Oh, the books choose the writer.
The book choose us. So, believing in that, I came across Dara Shuko. And I was also, again, it was a puzzle for me. I didn't hear about this great man of India before. So, when I started reading about Dara Shuko, his life and his story and his acquaintance with Indian spirituality, it felt like of course, but I have to be honest here. It felt like I'm looking at a mirror, actually.
Really?
It felt like that. Because even
it resonated so much.
It resonated so much. His journey, he started also with Sufism. He was a great scholar in Sufism. And even he wrote 4 books about Sufism. Safinatul Awliya, Sakinatul Awliya, about saints, Sufi saints.
So you translated his book Majma al-Bahari.
I translated his book Majma al-Bahari. Samudra Sangam. Which is
the confluence of 2 spiritual traditions.
Correct.
And he presented it very beautifully.
Correct. And by the way, I was also very much, I was enchanted by the title itself. Because Majma al-Bahrain is a Quranic term.
Oh, okay.
It is there.
Is it?
It is. So the way he even used these terms, that shows how the intelligence,
his pragmatic approach and his vision.
His vision. So.
But tell me how all these books have been received in Arabic world, because they are there for last 2-3 years at least.
Right.
Mira's bhajans are there in the market.
Right.
And I'm told that in Damascus and several other cities where Arabic is spoken and read, they really have become a hot cake. Am I correct?
Well, nowadays, the books is definitely not the. But yes, in a way, I mean, considering these books are translations, they are coming from India. Okay. Of course, we can say. I mean, Dara Shoko now, almost the first edition.
Over
is over
within a year span.
Within a year span. I worked also before on Guru Granth Sahib, Shri Guru Granth Sahib.
That also you have translated
in 2015. This is the
abridged version of
abridged version from Gurbani. Basically, the Gurbani.
Okay, wonderful. And so it's really very amazing to understand your journey, which is, like taking to the path of knowledge and Jnana Marga, as what we say. But before we close, tell me, what are your future plans and how exactly are you, and what kind of things that are keeping you engaged and busy these days? I'm told you are in Jaipur, am I correct?
Correct.
What exactly is the present engagement, the nature of your present engagement?
Right.
And what is the future plan for your spiritual journey?
Right now, I'm working on a research paper about India and Syria through the ages.
Oh, okay.
And this is one of the very. I hope it will make it will set things on the right track, because this is something also I found later on, where in India we can find many answers to many things in that part of the world, especially in Syria. I mean, it is something now, maybe it's well known. Syria is not the native name as such. This is a late Latin Greek name.
What is the native name?
The native name is Surya.
Surya.
Okay. And that is also something later on, building on my whatever knowledge I had when I came to India, and I heard about Surya is the Sun Bhagawan, the Sun God. And then I researched further, and I found at certain time, sun was widely worshipped in ancient
Syria,
in ancient Syria as well. Of course, there are many facts to be verified, and this is the role.
The land of sun worshippers, maybe.
Will
at certain point of time.
Well, that could be, yes, that could be, because it is one of those names. Until now, scholars are debating about its origin. So this is one. I hope also I want to work on Sri Adi Shankaracharya.
Yes. You want to translate his work into Arabic?
I want to translate some parts of his slokas
into Arabic.
Because he's a poet. He's a great poet. He's a poet saint. And I want to also make a comparison between Sri Adi Shankaracharya and Sheikh al-Akbar Muhyiddin Ibn Arabi. He is a great Sufi master. And even one of the things that also struck me when I read about Sheikh al-Akbar, he used to say, Muhyiddin Ibn Arabi, he used to say, this whole world is like a shadow of the God. And the same thing was revealed to me through the writings of Sri Adi Shankara Acharya. So basically,
these are the future plans.
And they confirm Ekam Sat,
Vipraha
that statement, Vipraha Bahudaha Vadanti. And
currently you are based in Jaipur.
I am based
and engaged in spiritual sadhana.
Right.
And research.
Right.
And writing books.
Right.
Wonderful.
Right. It is
it's so very encouraging.
Meditation, of course, it is one of the gifts given by this land.
Oh, wonderful. So you meditate every day?
Yes.
How long?
I mean, minimum 1.5.
1.5 hours.
If I get 1.5, it will be good. If I get 1.5, it will be good. It's such a beautiful exercise to help the mind, to calm the mind. So, too many gifts India has to offer to this field. And this is where really when I came across that term, Vishwa Guru. India is the Vishwa Guru by all means. Is the Vishwa Guru.
So, these are the experience-based kind of opinions of a very young, promising researcher into Indian spiritual traditions, our friend Amar Hasan from Syria, who is currently in India, and for last more than 14 years he is into sadhana in Indian spirituality and also adopting the Jnana Marga translating several Indian books in Arabic and thereby engaging in some kind of a knowledge exchange as well. So this is really very heartening, very encouraging, and very reassuring also. So as what we say that Indian culture connects, I think he is a living embodiment of how the power of Indian culture eventually connects with the entire humanity. So this was the first episode of this Connecting Through Culture podcast series. Please let us know your opinion, your responses, your feedback.